Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about how to get scholarship for bachelor's degree, BSc, master's or PhD. If you're interested in any of this scholarship, make sure you watch this video till the very end to get the full gist. Now, I know this is one of the most common questions I do get asked on my channel or my DM. Peter, I want to get a fully funded scholarship. How do I go about it? Can you help me? What documents do I need? What are some of the steps and processes that are involved? So today I'm going to start with bachelor's degree scholarship and then move on to master's scholarship and then move on to PhD. So I believe you have something to learn from this video. Hi everyone, my name is Peter Cecile. In this channel we'll talk about everything that has to do with scholarship, coming to Canada, life in Canada, funding, visa application, proof of funds. So if you're interested in any of this topic, including how to get a supervisor, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the like button so that whenever new videos are released, you'll be the first person to get notified. And if you like this video, it's going to help the YouTube algorithm recommend this video to other people. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with a bachelor's degree scholarship. With a bachelor's degree scholarship, to be honest with you, there are not really a lot of fully funded scholarship for bachelor's degree, because most of them are usually maybe in the range of between $5,000 to $10,000 for the first year, which is mostly referred to as the entrance scholarship. So you might not necessarily get a fully funded scholarship for undergrad, but it's possible. The reason is because most of the fully funded scholarship are available for high school students, probably those that finished from a high school in Canada. They are the ones that are mostly eligible for these fully funded scholarship. Okay, so the thing about this scholarship is that you don't really apply for most of these scholarship. Most of them are entrance scholarship or automatic, so it means that when you apply for a bachelor's degree admission and the department or the admission committee reviews your application and discover that your high school was really good with lots of A's and B's, then they are going to consider you for these entrance scholarship. And then if it is a scholarship that also cover full tuition and cost of living as well, they're also going to consider you for that. Okay, so the issue with this type of scholarship is that you can't really plan for it and say, okay, I'm going to try to get a scholarship and then I'm going to pay the rest, because you can not really tell if you're going to get a scholarship or not. So if you're planning to apply for bachelor's, my recommendation would be to make sure you plan to pay your tuition. But if your high school grades are good, you can still apply and then see if you get scholarship, especially some of these big universities that are University of Alberta, University of Toronto, McGill University, University of British Columbia. They offer very nice and amazing entrance scholarship. Now, let's talk about masters. Okay, for masters, there are basically two types: either the research masters or the course-based masters. The research masters is also known as the thesis. Okay, while the course-based masters, you don't have to write any thesis. So for research-based master's program, these are mostly the place where you find the most scholarship. For example, in science, in technology, in engineering, in mathematics, which are the STEM field, and as well as in medicine. Very great. You can get fully funded scholarship. Okay. The thing about this scholarship is that you don't necessarily have to apply for majority of these scholarship. There are scholarships that mostly come with admission. Okay, but one of the first questions you want to ask yourself, or when you're browsing through different universities, one of the first things you want to check primarily: do I need a supervisor before I apply, or do I need a supervisor? Are they going to give me a supervisor after I apply? Okay, so what that means is that if they don't need a supervisor before you apply for admission, you can actually just apply right away, on the condition that it is a thesis program. In a thesis program, once you apply, automatically you'll be considered for funding, which means that when you apply, the department will review your application, and if they see that your application is really good, they are not going to offer you funding. Okay, now you don't have to apply for the funding separately. It usually comes with it. So if you're required to get supervisor, that is basically now where a lot of the work is. Okay, learning how to send emails to supervisor, you know, putting your transcript documents and your doing a CV that matches kind of your Canadian, you know, degree, Canadian CV, right? I know it's a lot of work. That's why I've actually created, you know, a one-on-one mentorship where I can guide you through sending emails to professor. You know, I have template of CV that they can use, and basically I can spend time reading through your email to make sure that it's top notch before sending this email to the professor. And also I can also look through your CV to make sure that the CV has exactly what they're looking for to get that scholarship, and making sure that nothing is missing. So if you want to learn more about this mentorship, I'm going to leave a link in the description or in the pinned comment. Now, this is technically the same for PhD, because a lot of the PhD are quite... Before I talk about PhD, let me quickly go back to the course-based masters. For course-based masters, there is really not a lot of scholars. In fact, how did you get entrance scholarship? So for course based, you should be willing to pay, you know, especially courses that relate to business, you know, accounting, you know, most of these courses are usually course based, you know. So what you can do is to make sure that when you apply, make sure that your statement of purpose is really top notch, your letters of recommendation are amazing, so that, because now there is no supervisor that will advocate for you, right? So it's your CV, your statement of interest, and that is actually going to speak for you. So make sure all of these are top notch. And for diploma, quickly, there are either a 1 year diploma or 2 years diploma. They are hardly, you know, scholarship for diploma programs. So if you apply for diploma program, you should be ready to pay your application, to pay your tuition. Now let's talk about PhD. Being the fact that PhD is mostly research, there are some schools that require to get a supervisor before applying for PhD, or you can just apply directly. If you can apply directly, just apply it, but make sure that everything that require is part of it. And then when the admission comes, you know, comes out, whether with or without a supervisor required before admission, you know, it is going to come with funding, and then without funding, it's mostly going to cover your cost of living, as the case may be. Now, when exactly do you have to apply? So what are some of the requirements that are needed to apply for admission, to apply for this scholarship, you know, and the admission as well? Now, the most important parameter that they look at is your GPA. So the GPA usually have to be above, you know, or second class, upper, or first class. You know, that is going to be they call it a good CGPA. If you have a low GPA, I did a video previously talking about what you can do if you have a low GPA to improve your chances of also getting admission. You know, what are some of the documents you need? You need your transcript, you need your Canadian CV, you need your certificate, okay? And then letters of recommendation, they're actually going to come in later on, okay? Now, when exactly is the start date? The start dates usually range, January and September are the most common start date. However, you can also have start date in May. Okay, so I would say look at the calendar for the university where you're applying to, and see what exactly is the start date for the program of interest, and plan with that. If the program is starting September, my recommendation is usually to make sure you have everything ready by November, you know, October, November of the previous year, such that you can apply before December, because most of the deadline for September application are usually January, February, and March. Okay, if you are going to apply for January, the deadline is usually, you know, July, August of the previous year, because at least they want to give at least 6 to 7 months before the program started, so that international students will have the opportunity to apply for visa. Okay, so just to summarize, that for bachelor's degree, it's really rare to get a fully funded scholarship, but it is possible. But most of them are usually for students that finish their high school in Canada. Okay, and then for masters, if it is a research or thesis, there is a chance that they're going to get a supervisor if you qualify, especially having a good GPA. And then the same apply for PhD. With PhD, you mostly get a fully funded scholarship, because PhD is usually research. And then try to apply early, you know, such that you'll be considered for admission. That's going to be the end of the video today. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, do well to subscribe and hit the like button so that whenever new videos are released, you're going to be the first person to get notified. And if you haven't subscribed to my one-on-one mentorship and you need that personal guide, reach out to me on my website, and then I'll provide you that one-on-one guidance in terms of schooling in Canada. Thank you so much, everyone. I will see you in the next video. So let me quickly talk about external scholarship, because a lot of people have also asked me, can I apply for external scholarship even before I get the admission? The truth of the matter is, most of the external scholarship is usually available to people who have gotten at least an admission and they are in the department, because sometimes the department is going to be the one to nominate it. So if you are not already a student, there is hardly a chance that they are going to get you nominated. So make sure you just apply directly for these programs, and then the external scholarship, they are actually going to come in much more later on.